2019 regular board meeting of the Pullman School District. We'll begin, as we always do, with a flag salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Next item of business is the approval of the agenda. Superintendent Maxwell, are there any changes to tonight's agenda?
Just one change and one notification. So you should have received the last minute addendum personnel report. And the second is the removal of discussion item B, calendar waiver. Those are the only changes.
Move that we approve as amended. Second.
Been moved and seconded that we approve the agenda as amended this evening. All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, thank you. We'll move on to reports, correspondence, and program, beginning with Director Weed.
My board report. I've been busy, so I don't really have anything other than the Hounds are playing again on Saturday, but we haven't heard where or when.
Not yet.
But we'll have them on one of our radio stations. Speaking of radio stations, just wonderful. Did want me to thank you for stopping by. It's always pleasant to have a visitor at 4:30 in the morning. So letting them know what's going on. So as you're out driving the roads and lovely weather. So thank you very much.
It was convenient. It was my route. So
Oh, there you go.
By.
Well, you should have fixed yourself a cup of coffee. We have treats. Nothing good, but something. Treats. Cheez-Its. Lots of Cheez-Its. Anyway, that's my report. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Director Roberts.
Nothing to report.
Thank you. Director Everman.
The spaghetti feed
Oh,
at Lincoln Middle School went very well. Glad we went there early because that space is small.
Cost fortune.
But anyway,
Did you win?
Yeah, I won. Yeah.
I bid on quite a
Nice
few things,
bids.
but I didn't win anything. So
I didn't win anything.
I think bids were higher than I did.
Neither did I.
Well attended though, but bigger.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Director Chan.
I also went to the spaghetti feed. It was awesome. It was great to see so many people there. Also, I went to the Lincoln Middle School staff meeting last week, which was kind of nice to see all the staff faces and hear their Spartan successes. It was hear the teachers giving each kudos. And then also Cameron did a little video and information about vaping, because kids are getting caught vaping at school and in the class. And he showed, before the staff meeting, he showed me one that had been confiscated, and I thought it was a USB drive. So it's interesting how small they are and easy to be fooled by what they are. So that was interesting.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm concerned about
And be sure that we're covering vaping in our videos across the state. It's not caught up. It hasn't been updated yet. So
Thank you. At the recent Jefferson PTA meeting, Evan Hecker attended because that is the school, that so many Jefferson students will be transferring to Kamiak, and so was coordinating with the parents there about how to have open houses for all of the buildings in the district, but allow people to attend and help with the open house of the building where they currently attend, and also the one where they will attend in the future, because many people are changing and will need to attend multiple open houses. So it's going to be logistically challenging, but doable. I'm glad they're already planning that well in. Okay, let's see. I assume we do not have a PHS ASB report, for no one is in the gallery here. Superintendent's report.
Thank you. So a couple items. One I want to bring to your attention. I'll pass this around. The Community Action Center sent us a nice little card thanking us for donating food to the Community Action Center in the amount of 292 pounds of food. So worthwhile community support organization. I'd be remiss if I didn't give a shout out to our transportation, maintenance, and custodial staff, as well as all staff. They've just been working many hours, midnight, 3 a.m. out plowing and making sure we can have school. And so they've just done an incredible job. And all of our staff, all of our schools were covered today. We weren't short staff, so we really appreciate everyone's efforts today. Also, just to let you know, Friday you'll see an ad in the local paper that will be looking for potential architects to design a potential LMS remodel and transportation maintenance cooperative. So it'll be kind of a process to see who might be interested, and we'll review those firms that are interested and bring it to the attention of the board. So we're going to run an ad this Friday and next Friday, and then first week in March we'll see who has applied, and we'll take a look at their qualifications. So I wanted to let you know that. Also, Kamiak, just an update, still moving along with the finishing touches inside, which are always I think the longest amount of time. Probably another 2 to 3 weeks we will be able to start doing some tours for staff. They want to finish getting all the floors down before we bring additional tour groups through the facility. So that is my update.
Excellent, thank you. The next section of the agenda is the visitors section, and I'll note that we have no visitors here tonight, so I will read the paragraph, and we can move along to the consent agenda. Tonight's consent agenda consists of minutes, warrants, personnel report, professional and personal services contracts report, transfer requests, overnight field trip requests, Pullman Colfax tennis combine, records destruction, and ASB fundraisers. And I would now entertain a motion.
I move approval of the consent agenda as presented.
Second.
Thank you. It's been moved and seconded that we approve the consent agenda as presented. All those in favor?
Aye.
And no one is opposed. The consent agenda is approved. We have no action items on the agenda tonight.
May I just want to mention, one of the things on the consent agenda was the approval of new Franklin principal, Stephanie Bray.
Yes.
And I was on the interview committee, and it was an overwhelming choice in every category by administrators, by the interview team, by the community, and by parents that were in all these things. And we read through all the comments. Fortunately, it was all on an Excel sheet, so we didn't have to spend forever, just 12 hours working on this interview process. But it's a grueling process, something I'm just very grateful I have a job that I don't think I'll ever leave, because I'd never want to have to go through that kind of a process. But Mrs. Bray has been the choice, and I'm pretty excited about it. So well done. So now she's officially hired. We're all good.
Yes.
Yes, now we were just talking about that, so I'm glad you brought that up. And I do want to appreciate Susan being able to be a part of that interview committee. And Brian's wife, Michelle, was also on the interview committee. It was
14 people.
14
grilling
people.
This poor woman.
Yes. A lot of people.
Well,
very
3
big.
women, yeah.
Yeah. So we had originally 4 candidates. One had an emergency early in the morning and called and withdrew her name from consideration. But it was overwhelming. It was a great process. Very well done. We did I did a exercise at the end for what could we do better next time, and so the interview committee came up with about 3 or 4 suggestions. So we'll be looking at incorporating those into the next round.
Perfect. Thank you so much for mentioning something, Susan. I typically, when it's the consent agenda, I don't ask for discussion, and
Yeah.
so,
No.
yeah, but I'm so glad you said
As
something.
we were voting, I realized, wait a minute.
Yeah, yeah, okay.
Great.
Could I add something to my board report?
Why not?
Okay. I wanted to thank Shannon. I think her communication this past 10 days have been excellent.
Oh, yes.
Starting with the talk about the midwinter break and the snow days and all that,
Yes.
and then most recently about the winter weather
Yeah,
policy, just reiterating all that so it's out there,
Yeah.
everybody can see how those decisions are made. And then I think knowing that we made those decisions like 3:30 or 4 o'clock in the morning, and we're all predicting on the weather patterns, we just can't predict the weather. And she said that very eloquently.
yes,
Yeah, without offending anybody.
yes.
That the weather's unpredictable.
As long as we're on this topic, may I ask, at our household, we received 2 phone calls about, and you get the
I
same?
got 2 phone calls.
Yeah,
as well,
they're,
Okay, because board members are on the first round of calls.
Ah,
I include you guys so you're in the loop early, and if you don't want those calls, I can leave you out, and then you're also on there as,
parents.
A person.
So is the first round go just to staff, and then the second one goes to
first
parents,
round
or?
goes to media, Pullman Transit, the police department, child care centers, the board, administrators. I think
Okay.
that's it.
I believe my spouse would prefer that I not receive that call.
Is anybody else?
No, you-
Just one
I leave
call
my
is
phone on silent
sufficient.
better,
Oh,
like,
Yeah.
so
you don't want them either. Bob doesn't want
I
them.
don't want to call.
He doesn't want.
You don't want to be involved. He doesn't want any calls.
Don't want any calls.
Ignorance is bliss kind of thing, yeah.
All right, that is mystery solved. Okay, thank you. We've just been getting so many of those calls.
Yes, we have.
Okay.
Doesn't it make you feel popular? And
No.
They're coming from WSU too.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
if you're in school district and WSU, it's
Yeah.
Can we
all
take
hours
one
of the
these?
night.
Can we what?
Can we take one of these?
The ones who are
There's only
candidates
2.
should take them. It's for the ones who are candidates.
Oh, okay, bummer. So I'm giving a panel discussion on public servants and running for office. Shannon, could you send me a copy? Thank you so much.
Okay.
Apologize for interrupting.
Okay. So, so we veered off our agenda, and let's just clear the air. Is there anything else anyone wants to bring up? And if not, let's go back around here to our discussion items. Our first discussion item is 1101F Board Protocol. And we have an executive summary by
Yes, which is right up
Superintendent
there.
Maxwell, so.
Yes, and I will turn this over to the president,
Okay.
Nelson Montretola.
Okay, well, dear colleagues, we had intended to discuss this at our last work session, but as you know, we were busy discussing more important things at our last work session. So we didn't get around to board protocol. We sign this document every January, and I noticed that a couple of the policy references were policies that we no longer have on our books. So as long as that needed to be tidied up, I went through and rearranged a few things in there. And so I would, I guess, like your feedback on this edited document at this time. Would it help to kind of discuss any of this, or?
Yeah, I mean, I read it previous to now, and I didn't have any real questions, but I also don't really have much background to.
Right, so a little bit of the history of it. Susan was the one who originally, under her previous term as president, I believe,
Yeah.
suggested, we had attended some WASDA sessions where I believe it was Phil Gore who had done research showing that adhering to things like standards and protocols as a board actually is linked with academic outcomes in a district. There is empirical evidence of this. And so the way this was developed originally is we looked at probably 3 or 4 other districts that were operating with protocols and came up with our own language that frankly I think is better than what those other districts were doing, but was unique to our district. So I thought it was great when we implemented it. Like I said, there was just some policies that had disappeared along the way, and so since I had a chance to make some changes, I kind of thought,
Might as well.
yeah, might as well spruce it up so that it's kind of reads as good as possible, I thought. So when I took out number 3 about the community engagement, most of the text under that is about the section of the board meeting that says we accept public input. So instead, I changed it to being accepting public input. But then, well below, I added a different section. Thanks, Bob, for scrolling down.
Let me scroll down
That,
there.
that is about community engagement, that cites specific policies in our policy book that are community relations policies that talk about opportunities for people to be engaged in schools. So the way it's grouped now is it basically is students first, and then it's sort of things about meetings, and then it's bigger purpose things.
It is a flow.
Yeah, so I felt like it just flowed a little bit better this way. And then the decisions at board meetings, I just struck a couple. Go back up, you just scrolled past it. It's okay. Yep, right there.
There it is.
That one, I felt like it was well intentioned at the time, but it didn't need to be say so much about speech making, because I don't really see that as a current issue on the board, so I just shortened it up. Those are kind of the basic changes to the document.
Looks good to me.
Yep. Cool.
Okay.
Okay.
Thanks for updating the policies.
Yes.
You know, that was the hardest thing, was trying to figure out which
The
policies.
references.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, you doing that.
Yeah, and I don't even remember when we got rid of those other policies or what they were. So,
No,
okay. Well,
perfect.
Would you guys like to look at a clean copy at the next meeting, or we do have a clean copy that Shannon made that we could sign tonight? If
You're the president, it's up to you.
So would we need to approve this policy this evening to do that?
it's a form,
It's a form.
it's our
It's a form, so it's
So
not
we
really,
need to
yeah.
move it to an action item, or?
we would,
policy didn't change.
yeah, the policy did not change. I don't know if signing is an action.
It's a form that you use as a governing group.
But we could move, I mean, just to really cover our bases, we could move signing it to an action item, and then we could sign it tonight, because we were supposed to sign it in January.
Well, I will move that we move the board protocol form 1101F to an action item this evening.
Second?
It's been moved and seconded that we move this item to an action item. Is there any, hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, so I guess now we
Then
can
I will
sign.
move that
That's
we
an action.
approve.
Oh,
the-
okay, approve the revisions to the
The
form?
revisions to
Okay.
the form.
Second?
Okay, it's been moved and seconded that we approve revisions to Form 1101F Board Protocol. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
All right.
Hey, now
Thank
we have
you.
something to show we did something
Yeah, we had to
tonight.
take action
We
tonight.
took an action. All right. And the next discussion item this evening is Policy 2110, Transitional Bilingual Instruction Program, presented by Assistant Superintendent Kramer.
Good evening. I have, you'll note the policy is updated to reflect current language and best practice language. Eliminated some pieces that seem to be redundant. Most of the changes that occurred really happened in the procedure. And since that is included in your packet for information, I just want to say to you that each of the pieces in the procedure are things that we have already been doing. They're a requirement of the grant. And so we've already been implementing. So the change to the policy really is an update on language, and the procedure is, there's no way for us not to do it. So we are adhering to that request. But I'm happy to answer any questions about it. No. Okay. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Well done, Roberta.
Nice.
Oh, that's moving right along. That's a little pressure on Roberta.
All right, next, policy 3140, notice.
That would be fine. So, pull up. This gives a good sense of this particular classification. So, it's been updated with the most recent WASDA. Really, it's some pretty simple changes. This goes, originally it said law enforcement would notify the principal if there were someone that needed to be aware of. This just says if the district receives it, district responsibility to put that on the building principal. Bullet number 1. Bullet 2 is when the principal receives notification. This is practice, what we do. They just are restating it. They must provide the information to every teacher of the student, so other personnel who, judgment of the principal, supervises the student, security purposes, aware of this. Third bullet is just for additional information. 2018 policy. Or like any details?
Pretty much plus the language.
Yeah, it's strictly WASDA language. Hold up.
Pretty straightforward.
It's pretty straightforward. It's nothing earth-shattering. It's nothing really the note. All right.
Any other questions? All right then. Okay, let's do 36 interviews.
So again, this one had a little bit more substantial changes, and it really reorganized the existing policy that we have. So first is recognition that in limited circumstances, when an interview of students in school is warranted, and the school district would utilize procedures and protocols associated with the policy. It also notes that the district supports the federal immigration enforcement policy that directs agents to avoid questioning and arrest in school. Bullets 2 and 3 are kind of the new information in this. The rest of it's just categorized, not changed. Staff shall not grant information or access to immigration agents unless until the district superintendent and or the general counsel determines the request complies with the particular law reference, which I included it in it because I had to look it up. So it's there to your information.
Is there anything that
well, the thing that prompted this is nationwide discussions with ICE, getting on buses, going to different businesses, rounding up immigrants. There were some fears about, and I think this might have happened on the East Coast, where some parents may have been picked up on the way they did. I'm not aware of anything happening actually on school grounds, but I think this was the intention to be proactive and reinforce that this type of thing on school grounds. Very similar to law enforcement activity, we ask that it's possible that not occur on school grounds.
So it doesn't, like an ICE thing, it's not up to us to provide interpreters.
No.
But what about having
Not in this, that would be under the, if you were going to do an interview with students or that, then we would follow the other policy.
So this is just telling people really don't doing this.
Right. This is just reinforcing our policy is that this is not the place where you would
Yeah. So,
conduct your business.
but is the other policy reference?
Let me see. Other one. I believe it is, but
Well, I just, to me, it would make sense to have the other policy reference so that they
Yeah.
know that that is part of our students' rights.
policy 40. District relationships, removal of students, 3124. No.
Oh, it is
See it?
just relation.
Yep.
It's
Yep,
there.
there.
Well
It's there.
done.
I was sure it's there, but I want to make sure, so let's go. Any other questions?
Hold on.
Oh,
Okay, all right.
any other questions on that? Okay,
Okay,
well, if you do, we can talk about it.
Well, it seems may have gotten to a bad link. Also. I just clicked on that and got management support for bid requirements.
Not sure.
Is that on there anywhere?
well,
No.
I'll try it on mine.
Oh, I got it.
Yeah, mine works.
Right when it came up.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah.
My apologies. You can look at it if you don't believe it, it's there.
No problem.
Okay,
Make sure we're.
Trying to keep you on your toes.
and that concludes then our discussion. The procedures for the policies we discussed are included in the information items. There are also some very minor changes to policies. Insignificant changes like that are not discussed or well. So, if there are no objections, we will now recess into an executive session to discuss evaluation.
I just wanted to say one thing about the weather fact sheet that you put out. Very helpful, and
Thank you.
it really needs everybody to help explain full.
And I think what
process.
we'll do in the future is put that out maybe each month, starting in November, December, or just.
Yeah.
So
And
I did
is-
have a,
Oh, I'm sorry. And on that, is there the difference between the 1,037 hours?
It's there's more coming out. It's also yep. No matter what.
Wow.
And we're very, very tight on
I
that,
know,
so
we
we need to go back.
But I do appreciate the
We're
fact
trying to
sheet.
get it out, so.
Yeah. So people will understand.
no, I had, all got it. That, and this, I tried to answer. No else. That. What prompted us this that they added.
Don't have discussion days. One of the problems with discussion today is maybe some did have a PA that
So that was gonna be my second.
what prompted us was one was the trigger in there where date. So having it come up today, it's already Friday, so it's so close to the day. Many people had already gone ahead and made plans because they figured, oh, we're within 3 days, 4 days. The second was we were already getting calls from people putting in that they would need subsidies.
Teamwork.
So we will.
Corrective action already in place.
We've already had some very, very productive avoid.
Historic, always.
Either add them on the end, or we but that was typically when we didn't the other paid that is our own staff and or more.
So there's no other days besides February days served?
No.
So like you said, in the future we'll probably
In the future they will be at the end of the school year. Great end of the we'll have it dated that for you in the
2 hours.
but with 2-hour delay we did not. Because you've gone to school for a majority.
So if we do 3 of those in a row, that doesn't mean we have.
Nope. However, if you do not go to school at all, you are then bound total minutes. I don't write the
Behooves
stuff,
us to
I just
make up
follow
the
it. And I would also just remind folks that in that case, so that feel comfortable leaving on it.
I heard full.
That Colfax will not follow non period.
It's pretty scary though. The full road.
Yeah.
It's been
Well, the reason we did not have, well, we had one snow day was because it was blowing and drifting very bad out in rural areas, whereas this morning when we were out driving, roads were okay. Weather forecast predicted it would get warmer, and by 10, most of the main roads were wet. Not maybe a little bit of snow, but our buses were operating fine. Cities buses were having. So it's one of those manage multiple variables. And at 5:30, 6 a.m., it was kind of almost. No,
So, how long will it be?
10 minutes.
So, no action. Last. Will it